Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about sending emails to new Microsoft Teams members using Power Automate. Now this is a new feature that's part of the Teams connector, more specifically the Teams trigger, and it creates a great opportunity for bringing new people that have joined, say, a project up to speed. So without further ado, let's get right into the content. Let's talk a little bit about why this subject is important. So nowadays, collaboration is not an option, it's a necessity in modern organizations. Generally, you're not going to accomplish big things as individuals, but you are going to do so using Teams. And naturally, Microsoft Teams, the product, lends itself to collaborating within a team. And so what we want to talk about today is a scenario where you might have a new person joining a project or even joining an organization, and naturally they get added to a team. So we've all been there, we've all been the new person that needs to get up to speed quickly, and we're always looking for documentation. So instead of us having to ask, say, the project manager or one of the people that have been on the project for a long time for more information, why don't we just automate that? Because it's always even a hassle for, say, the project manager to go ahead and aggregate all of this content and find it, and maybe some people are smart and save a draft so they can easily just forward, but that takes time out of their day as well. Why don't we just set this up automatically so that whenever there's a new person that joins a team, they receive an email that includes a series of links that are of interest to them or should be of interest. Maybe it's a project charter, maybe it's principles or sort of rules of the road. It could also be an org chart. So this gives people a better understanding of the lay of the land and know who's who in the zoo and have a better sense of who are the stakeholders and who are perhaps some of the people they can reach out to if they have further questions about this content. And so we can easily build a solution around this using Power Automate. So the idea here is whenever there's a new team member added to a team, we're going to kick off a flow, and we'll do so using the Teams connector and a new trigger called when a new team member has been added that will basically light up that flow every time a new person is added. Now we're going to see in the demo that only the ID, basically the object ID of the person, floats into flow, and that's okay because we can use the Office 365 users connector to go retrieve more details about that user, including their given name and certainly their email address. So what we can then do is send them an email with a list of links to documents that they should really go ahead and check out. Enough of the chat, let's go ahead and see a demo of this in action. Okay, so let's walk through the flow first, and then we'll run it, and you'll be able to see the output of our solution. So here we have the Teams connector and a trigger called when a new team member is added. So naturally, when we drop that trigger onto our canvas, we need to provide a project. So these are, or a team rather. These would be the teams that exist in my tenant that I have access to. We've got one called the Phoenix project and another one called Power Virtual Agent. So for the purposes of this demo, we're going to use Phoenix project. And what we'll do is we'll add someone to that project in just a few moments. Now I mentioned this before in the previous slides, was that the only attribute or piece of data that actually flows out of our trigger is called user ID. So this is the unique ID of the user. This isn't like what you would think their email is or anything like that. This is a GUID that represents the object ID in Azure AD. And so what we'll do is we'll pass that into our get user profile because we can't really do much with the user ID on its own. But once we go ahead and get their user profile, then there's much more things we can do, like get their email address or get their given name and other information about them. So here we've now know who they are. We want to send them a mail. So we'll just send them an email that has a subject of welcome to the team. Here are some helpful links. And then what we'll do is just give them a series of links based upon some documents that happen to also be in our team site. So now if I'm new, I'll know where the project charter is, team principles, and the project org chart. And I can simply add these links just by typing some information and then clicking on the link here and basically adding a target. So that's how that was done. So all in all, pretty simple, but an effective flow because it allows us to automate some of the work that's involved in keeping our new team members in the loop. Now, I'm going to flip over to Teams, and we'll just discard any of those changes. And here we have our team. We've got General. This is where I had those documents uploaded. So like the project charter, the principles, those, etc. That's where we're going to just keep those. And I just grabbed the links by saying copy link here. And that's how I created those links in the email. But if I want to now go ahead and add a new user, I can click on add a member. And then we can just start typing a user called Joe or Flow Joe. And then I'm going to go ahead and click add. Now this will take a few minutes depending upon the plan that you do have with Flow, but generally within a few minutes, 5 minutes or so, we should get an email and that basically welcomes Joe to our project and includes some links for him. Okay, so here we can see that our flow has ran and we can see the output. And so this was that ID that I was talking about. This isn't like their username, which is usually some variation of your first and last name. It is actually the GUID itself. Then we go ahead and we get the user profile, and then we can go ahead and send the email. And when we receive the email, here it is here. And we can see, hi Joe, welcome to the team. Here's the links to the project charter, the principles, and the org chart. So all in all, not a very complex flow, but it's a great tool for just getting people onboarded. There's always a lot of tension and people are already nervous and a little bit stressed out when they join a new team. And you can actually automate this work, make them feel welcome, give them a level of personalization, but also give them the information that they really need to know about before they start delivering on more work. Okay, that concludes this episode. Thanks for checking it out. If you're not following me on Twitter, please do so at Weare. Naturally, please like and subscribe this content on YouTube. And if you're interested in some additional learning, I do have some Udemy courses on Power Automate and Logic Apps. You can go ahead and see a list of these courses, and I've also included some discount codes at the following link. So once again, thanks for checking out this content. We'll see you again next week as I upload another video related to the Power Platform. Thanks, and take care.